What's going on, y'all? Another random topic video. Today's random topic is strategy, how to move with strategy, how to strategize pretty much everything in your life. Well, maybe not anything, everything, but the important things, the goals that you set for yourself, you should have some type of strategy in how to get there. I grew up in a hood. I grew up with a single parent home. Mom's working all the time, sister doing what she's doing, and I was pretty much free to just do whatever I wanted. So I grew up in a world where without structure. I pretty much just did what I wanted, when I wanted it, and how I wanted it. So, I call that part freestyling, and I don't mean music in this sense. I just mean in the sense of you do things without strategy. You just go with the flow. This pretty much has been my life since birth, all the way till I grew up. And in certain instances, it was great because there are a lot of situations where you can't plan everything. And when you're put in that spot, my ability to freestyle and just go with the flow and think on my feet, it could be invaluable. But in other times, it was a detriment to me. In times where I needed to kind of buckle down and show some work ethic and add structure to my life or a specific aspect of my life, I couldn't do it. It just wasn't what I was trained or raised to do. I'm just used to doing things the way I want them, just coming in, freestyling, hope for the best. And, it's worked for me, for the most part, except a few instances. But I just got to an age where I realized that freestyling all the time, it's not good. Being able to freestyle, that's a great thing. That could be invaluable. But doing it all the time, you're going to find yourself in a bad position more oftentimes than not. But back in the days, we was kids. So our lives was pretty much structured for us, as far as like things like school and, just school. Or whatever else our parents pulled us in. But outside of that, as far as me and the environment I grew up in, there was no structure. So I just got used to it. The only structure, like I said, the only structure I had in my life was school and then sports. Sports, you got to be there at a certain time. Every day you come in, you run a few laps. Or matter of fact, you get in there, you start stretching, you run a few laps, you get to do, whatever the coach decides for you to do. I can say about the time I started realizing that being an artist is what I wanted to do, I started off doing what I normally do. I just started freestyling, just going with the flow, seeing what worked, just doing things according to how I feel. And again, that worked as well. Until when I started trying to put songs out, didn't get the response I wanted. It seemed like people just didn't take me seriously. Even though I felt like I was talented, and the few people that I could get to listen to me, they told me I was talented, but it seemed the majority of people just didn't take me seriously. And I'm like, why is that? And again, that's where my introspection started to come into play. I started looking at myself like, is this something that I'm not doing the right way? And eventually I realized that there was no structure to anything that I was doing. I was somebody who was always a shy kid, was always quiet. Then all out of nowhere, the clear blue sky, I'm like, hey, I got a mixtape. You should listen to it. People looking at me like, they didn't take me seriously because of the approach that I used. They didn't take me seriously because I wasn't consistent with that. I wasn't consistent with showing my talent. Friends asked me to rap and I'm like, go download my mixtape. That was my attitude towards them. Like, yeah, go download it. As opposed to showing them how talented I was, then showing them again, and just constantly showing them. Not only just showing them, but having some type of structure to what I was doing. Giving them something to expect. Letting them know, okay, this is where I perform at. This is where you could come see me. Or this is where I put out music. This way you can go listen to it. I didn't show them the passion and desire that I had when I was actually writing. I had a lot of passion and desire when I was putting my raps together, but when it came to presenting them to people, I tried to freestyle. I didn't have any kind of a strategy as to how exactly I was going to build up a fan base, and I paid the price for it. I spent a lot of money, or I wasted a lot of money, I should say. Had I had some type of a plan, at least if you put a plan together, you try it, it doesn't work out, now you know what not to do. Now you can say, okay, well, I tried this. These things didn't work. This worked a little bit, so I'm going to keep doing that, cut those off, and try something else. Through trial and error, you eventually figure out what works and what doesn't work. And you'll finally start getting somewhere. So I had to learn the hard way, which is wasted a lot of money. I have other videos talking about how much money I wasted, but I say close to $8,000 or $9,000. Of my hard-earned money that I worked 2 jobs for 75, 80 hours a week, completely wasted down the drain because of my lack of commitment. I was committed to making music, but again, the presentation matters. It's half as important as the actual creating the art itself. The time and the commitment, the desire that you put into creating the art. You have to put that same time, commitment, and desire into presenting it to people. And I was missing that second half, so paid the ultimate price. Well, not the ultimate price, but paid a huge price, literally, with the money. It really just taught me the importance of having some type of strategy, also some type of structure. I needed to improve my work ethic. I needed to start developing a strategy so that when I do eventually present it to people again, they see that I take it serious. And everything's not going to work 100% of the time. You're gonna fall, you're gonna make mistakes, but from your mistakes you learn what not to do. Once you learn everything not to do, now you know what to do. It sounds weird, but trust me, it makes sense. Yeah, it just goes to putting things into practice. You got to be like a chess player. You got to think several moves ahead. If you don't plan several moves ahead, the moment you make some kind of misstep, you're gonna feel frustrated, and just like most human beings, you're gonna shut down, and you might even quit, like a lot of people do. But if you think at least a few moves ahead, something goes wrong along the way, it's like, okay, well, I planned for this. Here's my counterpunch, to use a boxing analogy. You swing, you miss, somebody knocks you out, life knocks you out, your career knocks you out. You got to get back up and go back at it. Or you got to have a nice counterpunch, so that you don't get knocked out in the first place. Quit, give up your dreams, go live a 9-to-5 life, and then just start to hate yourself like most people. Just jokes. But not really. But yeah, like I said, it's just my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Random topics, we out.